The night hung heavy over the Hidden Leaf village, the silver glow of the moon casting long shadows across the rooftops. But tonight, something was wrong. The moon, usually a serene beacon, had taken on a sinister hue, its surface streaked with crimson like a bleeding wound. The air crackled with an unnatural energy, and deep within the forest surrounding Konoha, Naruto Uzumaki crouched low, his breath steady, his blue eyes sharp with determination. He could feel it, the nine tails chakra stirring restlessly within him, responding to the eerie phenomenon above. Naruto had been training relentlessly under Kakashi's guidance, pushing his limits to master the sage mode he had inherited from Jiraiya. But tonight wasn't about training. A distress signal had reached him moments ago. Team 7 was under attack. Sasuke, Sakura, and even Kakashi were locked in battle against an unknown force, something ancient and malevolent that had emerged under the Blood Moon's influence. With a burst of speed, Naruto shot through the trees, his orange jacket flaring behind him. The scent of burning wood and ozone filled his nostrils as he neared the battlefield. Explosions rocked the earth, and in the clearing ahead, he saw Sasuke, his Sharingan blazing, weaving through a barrage of shadowy tendrils that lashed out like serpents. Sakura, her fists wreathed in chakra, shattered the ground with a single punch, sending debris flying toward their cloaked enemy, whose face was obscured by a mask of cracked bone. Kakashi stood at a distance, his hands forming rapid seals, a lightning-infused kunai poised to strike. Naruto didn't hesitate. He slammed his palms together, summoning a swarm of shadow clones that charged forward, kunai flashing. The enemy, tall, draped in tattered robes, merely lifted a hand. A pulse of dark energy erupted, disintegrating the clones in an instant. But Naruto had expected that. His real body lunged from above, a Rasengan spiraling in his palm. The enemy twisted, narrowly avoiding the strike, but Sasuke was already there, his Chidori screeching as he thrust it forward. The masked figure blurred, vanishing before reappearing behind Sakura, a dagger-like claw aimed at her back. Kakashi's kunai intercepted with a clash of sparks, his Sharingan tracking every movement. "This thing isn't human," he muttered. "Its chakra is like nothing I've sensed before." Naruto gritted his teeth, feeling the nine tails power surge in response to his frustration. His skin tingled as orange chakra flickered around him, his whisker marks darkening. "I don't care what it is," he growled. "We're ending this now." The enemy tilted its head, a low, guttural laugh escaping its mask. Then, without warning, it moved, faster than before. Its arm elongated, bones protruding like blades as it slashed toward Naruto. He barely dodged, but the attack grazed his shoulder, drawing blood. Sasuke's Susanoo flared to life, a skeletal arm swiping at the foe, but the creature phased through it, reappearing inches from Naruto's face. A fist collided with Naruto's gut, sending him crashing through trees. Pain flared, but he forced himself up, his eyes burning with defiance. The Nine Tails voice echoed in his mind. "Pathetic. You're still holding back." Naruto clenched his fists. He wasn't holding back, he was afraid. Afraid of losing control like he had in the past. But as he watched Sakura heal Kakashi's wounds, as he saw Sasuke's exhausted stance, he knew hesitation would cost them everything. The blood moon pulsed, its light intensifying. And in that moment, something inside Naruto snapped. His chakra exploded outward, a crimson aura engulfing him as his pupils slit like a fox's. The ground beneath him cracked under the pressure. The masked enemy paused, its hollow eyes fixed on him. Then, for the first time, it spoke, its voice a chorus of whispers. "At last. The vessel awakens." Naruto didn't answer. With a roar, he launched forward, his speed unmatched, his fist connecting with the enemy's mask, shattering it. Beneath lay a face that froze his blood, a face that should not exist. The battle had only just begun. The air crackled with energy as Naruto stood atop the crumbling ruins of the Hidden Leaf, his golden cloak flaring like a second sun against the blood-red moon. The eerie glow painted the battlefield in shades of crimson, casting long shadows that twisted with every movement. Across from him, the enemy, cloaked in swirling dark chakra, grinned, his jagged teeth gleaming. "You're too late, Naruto," he taunted, flexing his clawed fingers. "The moon's awakening has already begun." Naruto's fists clenched, his knuckles white. He could feel the Kyuubi's chakra surging within him, hotter and wilder than ever before, as if responding to the celestial anomaly above. "I don't care what's begun," he growled, his voice layered with the fox's growl. "I'll end it here." In an instant, he vanished, reappearing midair above his foe with a spinning kick wreathed in blue flames. The enemy barely managed to block, his forearms shuddering under the impact before he retaliated with a backhanded slash of dark energy. Naruto twisted, barely dodging, but the attack grazed his ribs, searing like molten metal. Sasuke's Sharingan flared as he materialized beside Naruto, his sword humming with lightning. "Quit playing around," he snapped, thrusting the blade forward. The enemy sidestepped, but Sasuke's Rinnegan pulsed, swapping their positions in a flash. Before the foe could react, Naruto was already there, slamming a Rasengan into his gut. The explosion of force sent him skidding backward, carving a trench through the earth. But the enemy only laughed, dusting off his chest. "Cute tricks," he sneered. Then, without warning, the ground beneath them erupted in obsidian spikes. Naruto barely managed to leap away, but Sasuke wasn't fast enough. One spike impaled his shoulder, drawing a sharp hiss from his lips. Blood dripped, sizzling where it met the dark chakra. Naruto's vision burned orange. Sasuke. He didn't think, he acted. With a roar, his chakra exploded outward, forming a massive spectral fox that swiped at the enemy. The attack connected, sending him flying, but the victory was short-lived. The enemy twisted mid-air, landing gracefully before raising a hand. The moon above pulsed, and suddenly, gravity itself seemed to warp. Naruto's knees buckled under the crushing force, his bones groaning. Sasuke, gritting his teeth, forced himself upright. His Rinnegan blazed as he summoned Susanoo's skeletal form, the purple armor shielding them just as another wave of dark energy crashed down. The ground fissured beneath them, but Sasuke held firm. "We need to end this now," he muttered. Naruto nodded, pushing through the pain. He could feel it, something deeper within him stirring, a power beyond the nine tails. His markings glowed brighter, his chakra shifting from gold to a blinding white. The enemy's eyes widened. Impossible. No more words. Naruto and Sasuke moved as one. Sasuke's perfect Susanoo surged forward, its sword slashing in a deadly arc, while Naruto channeled his newfound energy into a colossal Rasen Shuriken, its edges crackling with raw power. The enemy countered, summoning a monstrous shield of black flames, but the combined force of their attacks shattered it like glass. The shockwave ripped through the battlefield, sending debris flying in all directions. The enemy staggered, his form flickering. "You pests!" he snarled, but his voice wavered. Blood trickled from his lips as his body began to fracture, dark energy leaking like smoke. Naruto didn't let up. He dashed forward, his fist glowing with the last of his strength. "This ends now." The punch connected, light erupted, swallowing everything in a blinding nova. When the dust settled, silence fell. The blood moon's glow dimmed, its eerie light fading. Naruto collapsed to one knee, panting, his cloak dissipating. Sasuke, equally spent, leaned on his sword. But as the enemy's body dissolved into ash, a final whisper echoed. "You've won nothing. The true awakening has only begun." The ground trembled. Far above, the moon cracked. The air crackled with energy as Naruto stood atop the shattered battlefield, his breath ragged, his orange cloak tattered from the relentless onslaught. Above him, the moon hung heavy in the sky, its pale surface now streaked with crimson, as if bleeding into the night. The enemy, a monstrous fusion of ancient chakra and corrupted will, loomed before him, its form shifting between shadow and jagged flesh, its laughter a guttural echo that rattled the bones of the earth. Around Naruto, his comrades lay battered, their strength pushed to the brink. Sasuke's Sharingan flickered weakly, his sword arm trembling from exhaustion. Sakura's fists, once capable of shattering mountains, now dripped with blood, her healing chakra nearly spent. Even Kurama's voice inside Naruto's mind was strained, their combined power barely holding the beast at bay. The enemy lunged, a blur of darkness and malice, its claws carving deep gashes into the earth as Naruto barely twisted aside. He countered with a Rasengan, the spiraling energy meeting the creature's chest, only to be swallowed by its abyssal flesh. A backhanded strike sent Naruto skidding across the battlefield, his vision swimming. He could feel it, the limit of his strength, the edge of his resolve. But then, memories flashed, his father's sacrifice, his mother's smile, the countless faces of those who believed in him. A warmth surged in his chest, unfamiliar yet undeniable. His skin began to glow, golden light seeping from his pores, his wounds knitting together as something new awakened within him. Across the field, Sasuke saw it, the shift in Naruto's chakra, something beyond even Six Paths Sage mode. "Idiot!" he muttered, forcing himself up, his Rinnegan flaring. If Naruto was pushing past his limits, so would he. Black flames erupted around him as he charged, his Susanoo skeletal form reforging itself into something greater, a winged titan of violet energy, wielding a sword of pure lightning. Sakura, too, dug deep, her Byakugan seal burning as she funneled every last drop of chakra into her fists. The ground quaked beneath her as she sprinted forward, her battle cry tearing through the night. The three struck as one, Naruto's fist cloaked in golden energy, Sasuke's blade singing with Amaterasu's fire, Sakura's punch carrying the weight of her unbreakable will. The enemy roared as their attacks connected, its form buckling under the combined assault. For a moment, time seemed to freeze, the moon's crimson glow pulsed, the very air vibrating with power. Then, with a deafening explosion, the creature shattered, its essence scattering like embers in the wind. Silence fell. The battlefield, once a hellscape of destruction, was now still. Naruto collapsed to his knees, his body trembling from exertion, but his heart lighter than it had ever been. Sasuke staggered to his side, his Sharingan finally dimming, a rare smirk tugging at his lips. "Guess you finally caught up," he muttered. Sakura, despite her exhaustion, laughed breathlessly, wiping blood from her lip. "You too. Always showing off." As dawn broke, the bleeding moon faded, its crimson hue dissolving into the morning light. The world had been saved, again, but the cost was written in the scars they bore, the bonds reforged in battle. Villages once divided now looked to Konoha with renewed hope, the legend of Team 7 echoing across nations. Naruto gazed at the horizon, his heart full. This wasn't just the end of a battle, it was the beginning of a new era, one where the shadows of the past no longer dictated the future. And as the wind carried the scent of blooming flowers across the battlefield, he knew, no matter what came next, they'd face it together.